Hi, everybody. This is Trish Kane, the CEO and founder of Healerverse. Welcome to the weekly roundtable where we feature one of our amazing Healerverse practitioners. Uh, every single week, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we come together with unity and love. And what I love about the roundtable is there's a lot of different spiritual and holistic healers out there and practitioners and modalities. And how do we even know what's out there, right? Like, what can people do? What are people's superpowers? And today we are very excited because we have Stasia, and she actually lives here in Florida. So if you're interested in meeting her in real life, that's definitely something you can do. But without further ado, I want to welcome Stasia.
Hi guys, thank you so much, Trisha. Yeah, okay, a little bit about my services, perhaps. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
No, don't
Um,
worry. Like this is actually like a really good come together. We do this every week. And
okay,
we never know where the conversation's gonna go. So
awesome.
yeah, and you're amazing. And I've been loving your content on Instagram and social media lately. I feel like you're shining and glowing, and we're so excited to hear from you and to be with you today. So no worries.
Awesome. Mainly I create guided meditations. So, I create containers for people to safely begin to work with their inner child, shadow work, things like that. And just really to get closer to themselves. So it's more descending energies, what's already within us, allowing what's in there to be seen and released little by little instead of like ripping open the door and like trying to get all the stuff out, which can be kind of traumatizing, right? Another thing that I work with is timeline therapy. And that's really cool for block removal or recognizing limiting beliefs that are holding us back, right? So we're able to move in the past and present and across all timelines and possibilities. So some belief systems can be like generational or from like 7 lifetimes ago, if that's something that you believe in. Hi, guys. But yeah, so that's another cool practice. And currently, I offer a community offer at Herbs and Earth in West Palm Beach in the Northwood District. Every Wednesday, we practice a general guided meditation. It's my signature, A Journey Within. And in that meditation, we begin in the realm of Mother Earth, which is then we're led to our inner child. And then our inner child leads us to our ancestors. So that's a continuous practice every Wednesday. It's only $10 a session. I've got such beautiful feedback from people that have come. I do have some testimonials on my Instagram from that as well. But yeah, it's a really cool way to work in the community. And following the meditation, we have a sacred share. So everyone's allowed to share their experience. And while they're sharing their experience, sometimes different things arise for them. And it's cool that everyone gets to be witnessed, right? But yeah, do you guys have any questions for me or
Yeah,
anything you want to
I
talk
would
about?
I would love to know like, and I always ask this, but I feel called to ask it in the beginning. Do you want to tell us a little bit about if you feel called your story and how you came to doing what you're doing? Because I
Yeah.
feel like one of the things that's precious and irreplaceable is when we share our own stories of how we wound up where we are. It helps other people to relate to where maybe they are right now or maybe where they've been,
Yeah.
and allows them to really tap into your energy.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I have a lot of childhood experiences with sexual abuse, physical abuse, neglect. My family was very toxic, and my mom was 19 when she had me. I was also conceived from rape. And so there was just a lot of heaviness, low education, low economic background for the family. And a lot of men that she was involved with were abusive to me and my sister. So I spent most of my life with one person in particular who abused me over and over again. And it was just a really toxic environment. And there was one time where as a young child, I told a school counselor, and DCF was notified. And at that point, my family, my parents made it super clear to my sister and I, like, we'll be separated. It will be much worse than it is now, just really gaslit as a child. So I learned very early on that I couldn't really confide in anybody. And so I cultivated a relationship with God. So my mom, she always kind of displayed herself, or she had this facade that she was like a Christian, a Baptist Christian woman, which we never went to church, very rarely. And one summer she sent us to like a Bible camp. And that's where I really began cultivating a relationship with God and learning about Jesus. And I never had that experience where I was connecting with Jesus. So that happened much later in life with Yeshua for me. But what did open up was a spiritual connection with somebody I could confide in and seek refuge in. And so, as a young child, because of that innocence, I had these really intense spiritual experiences very early on. And then, much later, after I finished high school, I had a spiritual awakening with Eckhart Tolle, reading The Power of Now. And then after that, I found myself as a sex worker. I worked as a stripper and escort for about a decade, almost like 11 years. And throughout that time, I was experiencing flashbacks from my childhood and I wasn't able to cope. And I was, really into like cocaine and alcohol and all of these things and re traumatizing myself. But throughout that time period, I continued to have spiritual awakenings, I guess like alien interventions a couple of times. Yeah, and then I had a really powerful spiritual awakening in 2017 that almost shattered me to the point where I was scared of being institutionalized, thought I was schizophrenic, and really that was so powerful that it catapulted me on a deeper journey with commitment to spiritual practices and teachings and cleaning my vessel and preparing myself. And one day I just kind of had the revelation that I wanted to sit with other people. And it wasn't just like a strong revelation, it was just kind of through time, little by little. I began feeling like I wanted to help others. And so that kind of just unfolded. I don't really have the specifics of that, but when I started meditating, that's when things really started to change in a different aspect for me, especially guided meditation. So I began learning from Jeffrey Allen from his duality program. He's on the Mind Valley platform and he's a master energy worker. And with that came a lot of intense spiritual awakenings and realizations, and allowed me to step into my power and the ability of how I could facilitate my own healing. So, with that grace and with all of those things happening, I just wanted to share, and then creativity started coming and I guess purpose, but I wasn't really full on sure of what that purpose was, and gifts because I was so used to them, but not in a way that I thought that I was crazy. So I didn't recognize them as gifts. But as I started like just helping people like friends and stuff and sitting with them, not even offering official services, it became more and more clear of the path. So I'm still unfolding everything. So at this time, it's just where I've gone into the lower heavy realms and depths within myself and the things that I've had to face. I'm able to go that far with people. So that's a really important part of my practice is I don't take anybody to realms or experiences that I haven't been through myself. So, and that is why I work with a lot more the descending energies. I can do some simple manifestations and things like that. But right now my focus is more into the roots of the tree. And so I'm grounding into that before the branches. But yeah, so my practice and my own self healing, my own shadow, and where I'm guided through deities and spirit, my higher self, where I go, I then feel that power and the frequency, and I share that with others. So yeah,
I would love to ask.
yeah.
So what a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm just gonna
Thank you.
mute everybody real quick. Uh, so we can tap into this a little bit. So, okay, first of all, thank you so much for your honesty, your vulnerability, and for sharing everything with us. That's super helpful, I think, to everybody on the call to tap into where you came from, where you are today. And I also want to speak to like your son, how you have a
Mhm.
little beautiful angel that also is a little light child, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And tell us about your son a little bit if that's okay.
Yeah, so I'm becoming more and more aware of his telepathic abilities. And it's really cool. He's just like the light to my life, really. And having him has actually forced me to even go further with my journey. And it's almost like the ages, there's like a saying about like, as your child ages, it kind of triggers where you were with trauma. So that's a really cool experience that I have with him sometimes. So it forces me to see that more. But also, my son has so much more freedom than I had as a child. And that is just like so amazing. I lived in so much fear as a child. And, even the tough moments where he's like having a tantrum and telling me off and no and throwing stuff because he's sick. So those tantrums are regressing back a little bit and then they go away and then they come back when they take jumps, or at least that is in my case. So it's really still beautiful because then it's like the trigger of like, oh, like, I'm not safe or something's happening, comes up, the inner child comes up. But then I recognize like, wow, like, look what I've created, the safety for my son, and look at the freedom that he has. And that also gives me strength and motivation to create liberation for myself and freedom for myself even further. Because for me, it's always like an unfolding thing. I really follow the school of thought of ascending up the spiral or descending down the spiral. So everything for me is kind of like curvature. So he really is a catalyst for that as well. And he's amazing. He's super amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm
Yeah.
going to ask Hillis if he wants to ask something because
Yeah.
I saw he wanted to. He had his hand up before. Uh,
Yeah, so thank you. I'm sorry, how do you pronounce your name again?
It's okay. It's Stasia, like Anastasia
Thank
without the Anna.
you, Stacia. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful story. It's tremendous because I too work with, similar people as you. And so it just takes a lot to honor the space of those people. But what I wanted to know is like everything that you do, is it more intuitive or do you have a special modality that you utilize? I mean, I want to know, how do you connect to the space that you connect to?
Yeah. So I have my own method that I've been developing, and it's because of the foundations from the masters and the teachers that I've worked with. Throughout my journey, especially since 2017, I was blessed to start working with Ascended Masters. My first one was David R. Hawking. So in 2017, he had already moved on. And then I began to work with Thich Nhat Hanh, actually right before he had passed away. So he came into my life. So I don't really know how to describe. And then, of course, Jeffrey Allen was a major foundation. I've learned a lot from Aaron Dowdy as well. I also, in 2017, when I had that crazy spiritual awakening, I went to a Zen school. I was in Providence, Rhode Island at the time, because I just didn't know what was happening and I needed help. And I was, at the time I was still a stripper and I didn't really have money for a therapist because all of my money went to substances, or I'd stopped dancing for a while and just, this whole chaos thing. So I went to a Zen center, and I saw like a beautiful like blue dragon like flying around. Like it was like a spirit dragon. So it was translucent and it was flying around the center. So that and since then, I've visited the different Kwanyam Zen schools throughout the United States and Connecticut and here in Florida as well. There's one in, I don't know, Southwest. What's it called? It's near Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I guess my practices have just evolved from the foundations that I've learned from sitting with these other practices. So there's also the Empty Zen Gate on YouTube. So that's really cool because it's accessible, it's virtual for everyone. But yeah, I was just more and more sitting with that. And then when I first connected with one of my ancestors, it was through a sound healing guided meditation. And then working with him, he just like opened the door and he really worked with my solar plexus. And that was a few years ago. And so that just kind of catapulted me deeper into ancestral work. So it's just really learning the foundations and practicing those foundations over and over again, where I had this like natural rhythm of what was working for me. And really beginning in the realm of Mother Earth, which was with Jeffrey Allen, one of the first places he took us on his duality program was connecting with Mother Earth. So I begin a lot of the practices in her realm because I feel like it's a really good, safe point, a compassionate point to begin. And then each place is a deeper induction for people to get into deeper states of hypnosis and meditation to go further within themselves. I don't know if that answers you.
No, that it does, and I'll tell you, I've been on a mission to come back to these round tables because I've been missing them, and I was like, I have to come on today. I have to come on today. I don't know why I have to come on today. And so when you said mentioned the blue dragon, I'm like, ding, 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 because my favorite color is blue, and I was born the year of the fire dragon. So
Okay.
I know there's going to be some magic happening in the future between the two of us. I feel that. So I will probably DM you on the side, but thank you so much for sharing your information and your wisdom.
Yeah. And then I'll show you this. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yeah, no, I can see it. I see. I don't know if you can see mine. I have like a giant dragon
I
on my
love it.
phone. It's all dragon energy today. All dragon energy. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, one of my friends, he when I told him that I was seeing dragons, and I've seen a couple of dragons outside of the meditative state, like in waking life. And so when I was telling him about that, he really educated me that they were coming from the angelic realm and that they have the capabilities to go to these lower realms, these heavy energies. So that was like an epiphany because I'm like, wow, yeah, I went through so much trauma, right? So they're able to go through those depths. So it's pretty cool, especially if we're Healerverse. We want to help people. Like it's, mucky waters.
I concur on that. And I feel like I'm full send healerverse until the end of time. I've had a lot of people ask me to do stuff on the side that I've done to help to monetize healerverse since it's been mostly bootstrapped, but I'm back to full send healerverse and that's it. 10% of my time can maybe go to other stuff like that I other things that I do, but I'm full send healerverse and that's it. Yeah. And because people need us, like people need us and they need this specific mission and vision, this specific mission and vision. And it's because of the practitioners on Healerverse. And I trust all you guys, that we need to keep going and move forward and go help people, right? Because I know too, kind of like I have a lot of insider information from other realms as well. And then also my connections and my network and stuff that of what's happening right now. And yay! But a lot more people are going to need us. And at least they have a safe place to come to. And people always ask me, where can I find somebody to do this? And like, I always direct them to Healerverse with the DMs and stuff. But we'll upgrade some of the features pretty soon. A lot of AI platforms are going to funnel into Healerverse directly to the practitioners to work with them on the spot, whoever's online, and we're going to be changing a lot of stuff to make sure that we're actually serving humanity. And you guys are amazing. And I'm still so blown away by your personal story that you just shared. I had no idea.
Can I share something real quick?
All of it. All of
So
it.
I just recently saw this Instagram reel with Sadhguru, and he was in Delaware. I don't know if it's like the Senate House. I don't know the technical term of the government thing he was at. But this was really recent, I believe. And he had talked about that the World Health Organization has statistics that in like 2045 to 2055, something like 20 or 25% of the world's population is predicted to commit suicide. So I just recently saw that, and I think that's kind of like a push for maybe, sometimes I need a little bit more of a flame because I'm very slow with things. But perhaps, that's something to think about as we like work in these spaces, assisting people to be able to process these heavy emotions and to release and, to lighten their load and to become more aware of their abilities and stuff. So I just wanted to share that because that was really crazy. I mean, he did say on the platform that, it's like predictions are not the same as like the human heart and like, the mystic Sadhguru way, not to let that create a lot of fear for you. But if you guys can take a moment to check that out, that might motivate you like or inspire you like it did me. I know it's kind of like a negative, but yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And there's power in numbers, right? Like, and I definitely also like started to like build solutions to help with like mental health, addiction, alcoholism. So it's interesting that you brought that up. People getting out of prison, veterans, those are who is probably most likely to commit suicide. The rates are very high, but I could see like if the world keeps being as structured as it is, that will continue to escalate, like suicide rates and all that because this is like, a lot of us are not from this place, and like we come here and we're like, oh my God. And I'm sure most of the people on this call have had some close calls. So yeah, like, but at least we have each other. At least we have each other and we can help other people together too. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Diane had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chris.
certainly,
I know I stopped taking meetings and I'm just telling everybody to come to the round table from now on. Thank you, Chris.
thank you.
Chris is also an amazing practitioner and he helps with, I don't know if he's still here. He's gone. He helps with family stuff. He helps people with family. Yeah. Which is really cool. Yeah. Diane, do you have a question?
I do. First off,
Hi.
Stasia, thank you so very much for sharing your story. I have some similar hardships, not in the same way, but it's very powerful that you overcame that. That's amazing. And I definitely want to acknowledge that. I'll say what I have found most interesting is because I often see it on people who are healers, the glow of the mind's eye always reflects in pictures, in videos. It is right now, and that's beautiful. What was I mean, you shared it for sure as some hardships. And I know I've always been in connection with my elders. So I've had, I guess, a protection order of some sort from horror, even though it happens. What is your first thing when someone comes to you to kind of break that barrier of fear? Because I have found so many people that are stuck in a loop, and you can't force this on anyone. It always came to me so I could learn from others until I made my practice stronger. But when you find somebody that you see is struggling and they're scared to break that loop that they're in, what do you do to help with that? I'm curious.
So are you talking about like a letting go practice? So maybe they're afraid
Well,
to
you
let
said
go.
your Wednesday thing. Do you share that on here, or where do you market that for
Yeah.
people that are frightened? Because it's not an easy thing to overcome your shadow work. It takes a lot of work.
Okay.
And when somebody opens up to it, because it happened to me in my first meditation in a rehab at 14, which I didn't belong in, because it wasn't my issue. I was just acting out because I was different from my family.
Mm.
And I never went back to them after that point, because I saw they just didn't know me. So its story is different, but I'm sure you have people that reach out, and you can't chase somebody that's not ready to do the shadow work. So when they
Right.
first open up, because you help them open up and let
Mhm.
that in, fear was my first.
Right.
So what do you do to, in the end of the practice, so that you get them to come back and do that work with you?
So generally for my practice, each step is just small amounts of exposure. So that way it is uncomfortable. The things that arise are uncomfortable, but it's not a full-blown experience. It's just opening the door little by little. So when I first bring people to the inner child, um, the subconscious, the soul, the higher self, whatever school of thought or whatever comes forth, will only bring forth a version of their inner child that the conscious mind or the soul has the threshold to sit with. So, for example, for a while, there was a point in time where a 6-month-old baby version of myself was coming forth. And this happened to me like for a couple of weeks almost. And I just would have to hold this baby. And I tried to push myself to go further, to different ages. And so I learned through spirit that whatever arises is I'm capable of standing and sitting with. So that's what happens. And then also bringing into the awareness and inviting people to understand that sitting with uncomfortable emotions is something that we practice. So I've just been working on a letting go, like small like practices. And the first practice with like letting go, which could be for sitting with fear, for example, is just to take a moment to acknowledge what it is that you fear. So, what's the one thing that comes up with the fear, and identifying that and just sitting with that? What first arises? So, perhaps you're afraid of falling, right? And so you think of that cliff edge and you have that tightness just for a moment. Allow that to arise and experience that just for a moment. And as you continue to do that practice over time, the intensity of that will lessen more and more. And your threshold to sit in these heavy emotions and in these uncomfortable experiences will be longer and longer. But as you continue to open that and to channel those emotions, you're releasing that energy, right? So you're creating more space. And so then the awareness comes in, and now we can invite the awareness to recognize. You invite the person to say, like, can you see that this is a thought? Can you see the thought of fear? Can you see the emotion of fear? Can you see what that is? Are you able to see that? So we guide them through that. Yes, I'm able to. Okay. You are that awareness behind that thought. You are that awareness behind that emotion. That's who you truly are. So that practice, it happens in glimpses, especially in the beginning with somebody who doesn't have a lot of consciousness or awareness, or they're at lower levels of these practices, or they have a lot of heaviness they're working through. So it's teaching them to guide themselves to practice that and sitting with that, and that mantra that I am not my thoughts. I'm the witness of my thoughts. I am not these emotions. I'm the witness of these emotions. And each time they're able to direct themselves and recognize, oh, I just watched that thought, or oh, I just recognized that was the emotion. That's a split second of separation of space of being that awareness. Does that make sense?
Wow, thank you so much. That was beautiful. And Diane, thank you for asking that and for sharing your experience as well. Thank you. And Sid wrote in here, thank you for sharing and for doing the work to be where you are today. Seriously though, right? Like, oh my God. Yeah. You're a hero, literally. Who or what do you lean into to help you stay clear in your life is the first question.
That's a tough question. So I've been kind of a lone wolf off and on, but I think that throughout my journey, God has provided different people that have sat in for that situation for me. I've been in therapy in and out for like the past 10 years, in and out of therapy. So when something comes up that's really heavy that I have to work on, and I start kind of destabilizing, I know that I need to get back into sitting with a therapist. And then also my meditative practice, I begin sitting with that more and kind of go back to the roots of the inner child. Recently, I've been working with a lot of anger. So, yesterday, I did a practice that was an unworthiness and tracing back unworthiness through my child and seeing like different, it was like a massive download and then experiencing those emotions. And what was behind it, there was a level of compassion that they had a level of consciousness, which is why they were kind of shedding their unworthiness onto me. But also there was like a level of rage and anger. So perhaps what I'm trying to say is that it's just allowing myself to sit with each facet of emotions that come up with that attachment or that experience, because that's what's been repressed. That's what the problem is. And that's kind of what shades the perspectives and the belief systems on my life, right? So definitely therapy. My son's father, he's been a very grounding person. We're no longer romantically involved since 2023, so it's been a few years. But he is pretty grounding for me. He's not very spiritual, but he does allow me, like, he's kind of able to kind of hold some of that chaotic, feminine, childlike energy that comes out. But yeah, and then I guess finally, and most importantly, it's the divine. So it's, our Holy Father, the Divine Mother. A couple years ago, like 2 years ago, I'm so bad with time frames, but I was introduced to Lilith. And because of my Christian background, that was really terrifying for me. And then a couple weeks later, I was really going through something and my clear audience was kicking in and I was being told to call on to the Dark Mother. And I never really had any experience or teachings of this. And this was just guided by higher spiritual beings, right, for me. And so what I found was that, trusting the guidance and being able to discern over time when I'm getting connected to like these divine higher beings that are guiding me and trusting that they're supporting me and that they help me release. So the Dark Mother really pulled out a lot of darkness from me and just held me. I was in this realm with her where I was laying on her lap and she like had all these like black things coming out and she was just pulling things and I was like purging, with her in like that kind of suspended time in that deeper meditative state, right? So yeah, I guess strongly it's having like God, somebody who's realistically grounded in this realm, in this reality to share. And then the practice of meditation, of my guided meditations, because it's not all about rest and relaxation, but really diving deep and sitting with those things to my threshold.
Wow, thank you so much. So for those of us that don't know, what is Lilith?
Yeah, so I still haven't fully done the research into Hecate and Lilith. So they're kind of like these darker goddess beings. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions, but they have some sort of wound, right? But they're also this very powerful being. And sometimes what's happened through some of my inner meditative work, it's kind of like power versus power. Like I've had Medusa come up, and it was kind of like her energy and her, like the dragon, she had the depth to kind of slay and like pull out what was ever coming out of me. Kind of like a matching mirror, sort of, but she was stronger, right? So I learned like the idea of Lilith as like Adam's first wife, and she was like this queen of the mother of the damned or the demons, So I don't really know because I transitioned when I was too afraid. They brought me to the Dark Mother, who is kind of like, from my understanding, like Dark Terra. So it's like a mother goddess, like in Buddhist Eastern traditions. And she just really has the ability to sit in these really heavy spaces and be so compassionate. So it's another energetic force or energetic symbol frequency that can help you release, transition, alchemize, and assist with that. Because if I fully knew how to do all of this, I would be like, Jesus. I wouldn't even be here. So these beings come, in my belief, in my experience, that these beings come in as we're ready. These teachers come in. So yeah, I hope that explains it.
Yeah, so Sid just wrote in the chat, she is currently waking up the feminine side to elevate humanity.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And also, like, the visual that I'm getting is that, we need to be able to acknowledge the dark within people to be able to get the light out, right? So like, and I picture, and I like that you use the word alchemize, because like that's exactly what you're doing. You're alchemizing. And so one of my pros or cons is that like I only see the light, right? So like I see the best. So actually, like God created all different people, right? Like we need you to be able to alchemize all that. And then also Sid wrote, Lilith is the first woman. She was a rebel in the kingdom because her rebellious spirit. Eve was pulled from the rib, ignore to create a union. I love this. Yeah, and thank you for like openly sharing so much with us today so far. Like, this is amazing. And coming out of your shell and being here, like, everybody that's here today, thank you. Another question that I didn't ask you yet that is in the chat says, seems that with the trauma you've experienced, that there is a great deal to process, right? So that makes sense too with Lilith and everything, right? That's my
Mhm.
own side note. And then how do you stay free?
So freedom is also my process. With my practice and with sitting with these practices and releasing, it's one step to liberation. It's one step closer to freedom. I want to share. So there was a time period where I was really caught in the trauma work. So I was working with a book writing coach and I was writing about my childhood and it just derailed me. And I was talking to a friend and I was so frustrated because I'm like, why can't I remember anything good about my childhood? Because I was so consumed with all of this stuff. And what ended up happening as I continued to sit with that, and I did a meditation for myself and like sat with that and put that out there, I guess, because it wasn't fully me. It was also divine support. There was a small release there at some point, and then the following day after that release, I was blessed with this beautiful memory of my sister and I sitting on a hammock camping and just seeing her joyful face and her expressions. And it was a beautiful release. And to me, that's freedom. So it's when these heavy experiences are just so heavy and dense, right? They're shadowing, so many of our experiences sometimes. And when we're able to release them, transmute them, and create space, these lighter, less dense, higher frequency experiences can be revealed to us. But yeah, and just recognizing that as we continue to face and go through these things, and build our courage and build our strength and build our compassion. That's a major component of my practice is compassion, and having compassion for these abusers, right? So yeah, it's just kind of each little step is part of the liberation practice for me and process of being closer.
This is so powerful right now, especially for me. Selfishly. Not selfishly, it's not the right word. Because like I definitely like do oftentimes feel a lot of darkness around me, but and I just internalize it, right? So whatever, it's honest hour. It's the round table. That's what we're here for. So like maybe I need to work with Lilith too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And actually, most recently, we had an experience where somebody did like pour darkness all over me, like all over, right? And went on social media and messaging people and da 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 da. I didn't even know this person and I had a problem, right? this happened recently. And I was like, I'm too busy to care. But like, how do I like, I guess we can work with you to like alchemize and get to know Lilith so that way we really can release stuff. I'm in a 12-step program. Um, that's not a secret, but I don't announce it, but I'm starting to get more comfortable with it. Have been for straight for 11 and a half years, longer. Um, and I did a fifth step with one of the girls that I mentor the other day, right? And man, a lot was coming up because I started to see a lot about myself. And like I love, I don't know where like, where the planets are today, but like wow, what a good day to be like transparent and like to really like come together and heal. And a conversation that I had with Sid yesterday too, right? Like we need each other and we all have our own superpowers, but it's like interesting for me to acknowledge, hey, I need to also look at the dark. That's a huge thing. Because if it's just always like coming and I'm just ignoring it, but it's actually affecting me, can I really help myself or others through it?
I think absolutely. I think sometimes that's part of the process. So when we're confronted, like some people refer to this as like the sacred mirror, when we're confronted with these energies that reflect our own energies, and we're assisting others, sometimes that for me is a motivation to go even further. One of my teachers, Abby Levine, who's a master hypnotist and a master manifester, she used to go by like a magnetic money manifester or something like that, but she does it's much deeper than that. That's just the hook, right? So one of the things she always taught us was that you only really need to be a couple steps ahead of who you're working with or who you're teaching. So as we continue to go through, we are the way shower. We're holding the torch, the lantern through the darkness so that we can guide other people through that process as we continue to move through that. So this brought up, oh, I need to see this within myself. I need to sit with this in myself. So as you begin to allow that to unfold and bring awareness, and whether it's compassion or whatever it is, depending on the situation, you're moving through that. And now you just by doing that, your energetic signature has shifted. And that when you're around somebody, that's going to automatically help them rise.
Thank you so much. I love that. Does anyone else have any questions if they want to write in the chat? Okay, wait, Sid wrote, if you simply teach what you know, there are plenty of people who need to know what you have experienced. Be authentic. I love that. And maybe, well, this is cool because maybe like I don't need to tap into the darkness. Maybe my superpower is to help people to find the light within themselves and just to rip that out. And I know there's somebody else on this call that's a lot like me, who's also an Aquarius that kind of operates like that too. Maybe with a different human design path, but name Anja. Yeah. It's Sarah with her baby. Oh.
I can share something if I may.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
First of all, Stasia, this is like, oh my gosh, your story is so powerful, and I felt everything what you were saying about the dark feminine because I think it gets, it's really easy to confuse the dark feminine energy with the darkness or, aspects or shadows or something. Um, so oh my gosh, I don't even know how to explain this, how to say this, but I had like now I'm getting tests all the time, but they are very, very fast. They are very intense and then they go away. So this person entered my life like a month ago. It was, regarding the business collaboration, co-creation, but it was like really this crazy experience. And he claimed that he's I mean, I'm just gonna say it, like he claimed that he's some ascended master, like master of sacrifice, something that like, and I'm a Venus and he's my twin flame. And then like that he sees all the shadow aspects. So whenever we were talking, I'm me, yeah. And Trish, no, I'm me. Like she knows. Like I'm not pretending. Like if I want to laugh, I laugh. If I want to, cry, I cry. If I want to say something, I just say something. And this person was like, I don't know, I got a giggle or something like, oh, no, 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 don't do that because that's your shadow aspect projecting on me something. And that means, that your soul is, hurting, da, 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 but you think consciously, you have no idea what is happening beneath. So it was like this very, very crazy experience. It lasted for a week. And then I was like, you know what? This is not mine. This is not mine. And I'm just like, okay, that's your, reality projection or whatever. Super smart guy, by the way, super smart. And I could feel some kind of connection. There was some kind of connection on a soul level, not even close romantically, but there was some kind of connection. That's why I was like communicating with him. But it was so crazy because he was convinced that he was reflecting, like that he, like pulled out all my shadow parts. And he was. But the thing is, like, that's not mine, like. And every single thing that it came up, I was like, I accept it. It's okay. I know it's here. I know it's here. I know it's here. But yeah, then I was like, you know what? Like, I accepted all my shadow parts, like whatever you are doing with the rest, like if you're projecting, because he was so insulting. Like when I said, hey, this is not mine, like I like, if there are some soul contracts, between me and you or whatever, I delete everything. Like I break everything. I don't want to do anything with that. We can see like where this is going, like on a clean slate, but nothing from the past. And he was so triggered. He was so insulting, like so much anger, so much aggression. Like I was like, what the hell is going on? But it, like, everything went through me. And I also like kind of alchemized it. I felt it, like that I kind of not absorbed, but like accepted everything. But I sent it down to earth. And I was like, I literally felt all the aggression, all that, like that dark energy, like went down to earth, and it was there. And it's like, hey, now there are light codes, because it was kind of transformed into forgiveness and compassion. This is
Beautiful.
what I felt. So it's like, there is so much darkness. I mean, like what is coming up, but we are so powerful. We can do that. We can really do that. So yeah, I don't know like why I wanted to share this, but it's like when you mention dark feminine, it's like, yes, this is like something that we as divine, feminine, like us women, we need to embrace that. Also dark feminine. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow. It sounds like you you definitely did the right thing. You definitely did the right thing. Like, because there's like we have to be careful too, with, people that try to project their stuff onto us. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's yours,
Yeah,
that's not mine.
yeah, exactly.
And don't
That's
take
your
my
reality.
inventory, like, unless I'm giving you permission to help me, you know? Yeah. A lot of people are, like, will try to be controlling and stuff. Yeah. And
Yeah.
manipulative. But that's why, like, we have such a good community here because it's a safe place and, like, we get to know everybody and we can support one another. With
Oh my
stories.
gosh. And one more thing that
Yeah.
if I may share also, like magical, I don't know if you're already familiar, but lately I've been really, like, I've been guided to learn more about fascia, um, because it's like so powerful. So and I'm going to do that now, but like what I found out is when you sit in the forest and you connect yourself to mycelium, to the trees, like you literally, you set the intention that you want to connect your fascia with mycelium, which is forest fascia, the trees can enter your soul field, your Akashic records that are downloaded into your fascia. So practically, the trees will give you the answer when you connect in this way.
It's beautiful.
I love it. I was like, wow, everybody needs to know that. So yeah, today I'm going to hug trees. Thank you for letting me share this.
Yeah, I like to refer to Mother. Well, at first I was working with her as Mother Earth, and then a few weeks ago in a meditation, she called herself Gaia. So I think it's just kind of different energy consciousnesses of her, right? So I always refer to her as like the master transmuter. Like she's the master alchemist because she turns death and decay into life. So that's such a cool, like I love sitting with trees. That's why in my journey within the first realm we go to, well, that's part of it is working with Mother Earth. And one of the prompts that I have is when we create our grounding cord, is I remind people, you know, any distractions or anything, just send it down your grounding cord to Mother Earth. So that's really cool about the mycelium and like connecting. And yeah.
Has anyone been having weird dreams lately? Like a lot of them? I think that's even why I'm like a little bit, rambunctious today too. Like the amount of dreams that I've been having, like yesterday I napped for 3 hours, by the way. 3 hours. That has not happened since high school or college or whatever, Like, wow.
It
Like,
happened to me too, as you know.
really?
I never nap in the daytime, but I have always had very bizarre, colorful dreams. But what I wanted
Mm.
to say that it was said, which was beautiful a moment ago, about connecting with Mother Earth men or women, their feminine energy for sure gets ignited by Mother Earth, as well as everything else. For sure, but I just added on my tattoo the green to specifically remind me of going into the earth and spreading like trees talk to each other for
Aw.
miles away. They communicate if there's any danger, if the weather is any danger, if there are humans that want to cause them harm. They tell everyone. They tell every plant and every animal, everybody. They also tell us, the ones that are indeed open to listening to that. And that was beautiful. I needed to be reminded of that today to give me continued strength because I have a busy day, and this is the best way to start it on a Friday, no doubt.
Yeah. Thank you for
Thanks,
sharing.
Trish.
Yeah,
And
thank you
thank
for
you,
sharing.
everybody. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great
thank
to be
you.
connected with all of you. I would like to do a whole workshop event, a big one, with
Yeah,
music and everything, since I'm also a musician that works with some amazing musicians. And maybe we can plan something for the future
I love
together.
that. I love that idea. Brilliant. Let's do it.
I want to do it.
Yep. Um,
We all have something to add to each other
yep.
and grow and continue to be in a safe space where we all are with integrity
I love
and
that.
help each other grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hillis was asking that too. Let's do it. I love that. Yeah, thank you for bringing up about the trees. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have about 3 minutes left. Is there anything else that you want to tell us?
Me? Okay. I don't know, like perhaps not really. I mean, I have been getting really into movement for meditation. So my first exposure to that was with the Zen school because they do a sitting meditation, then a walking meditation, and a sitting meditation. So what I found that if you have a difficult time with meditation or even guided meditation, the movement really helps. So it kind of releases excess energy, kind of forces you into the body. And recently, my movement meditations have been geared towards releasing different aspects of anger within myself. Because, sometimes we have like this sacred rage, right? And we're taught, like not to be angry, or that's like a lesser thing. And a musician, Trevor Hall, he sings this song. And one of the lines is, I don't cut any branches off my tree, which I think is some sort of like Asian, like, I don't know, not proverb, but, the little sayings, quotes that they have. And, anger, despair, even like agitation, jealousy, envy, loneliness, all of these things are, could be viewed as sacred experiences, right? And what would they become a challenge, or they become detrimental to our being when we hold on to those. So where these, like, if you see yourself as this electrical light being, you're allowing yourself the opportunity to channel these emotions, right? And creating safe containers for yourself to allow yourself to channel these heavier emotions little by little is what's going to help allow you to release them and sit with them and to be less reactive towards them. It's not that they themselves are these terrible things, right? It's just when we have these attachments and these repressions that they start to affect our nervous system, our belief system, our body, the fascia, all of these things that we're holding on to so tightly, right? But yeah, like, so perhaps if I could leave you guys with anything, it's opening up our belief systems and our mindset when it comes to experiencing emotions that are uncomfortable for us.
I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming to the round table. DM our girl here on Healerverse, 5dhealerverse.com. You can find her, you can DM her. She's on the Healerverse practitioners page. Sarah, I want to have a private conversations with you. I'm so happy to see you and your baby. And Anja, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing with us. Everyone else who's still here, Angel, Nathalie, my love. I love you guys. Your Facebook Messenger crashed. That's good news. Maybe we're going to the reset.
We are.
Yeah! Let's go, Sid. Okay, let's stop recording. I love you guys. See you next week.